All right, we are back live. Had to fix a couple things. We weren't streaming on YouTube and Facebook, but now we are back. We're live. I'm Jason Brown. And when the timer hits 0, I'm going to be breaking down a 12K trading case study. So we did a trade, ended up being 12K profit, which is cool. But the cool thing about it was really the time frame we did it in. We did it in 7 days, and it ended up being a 19% return on investment. So we're going to break down what stock we picked, which option we went into, what the chart looked like before we made the decision to get into the trade. So while we have 2 minutes left, this is a good time to do a few things. Number one, let us know where you're from. I always love to know where people are from, and I like to come in and interact with you in the comments after the live stream is over. So feel free to let us know where you're from. Number two, it's a good time to tag a friend, someone who is interested in the stock market and would like to check out the case study that we're getting ready to do, whether you're watching it live or on the replay. And then also, you can actually type in, if you want to get notified, at least on Facebook, if you want to get notified when we're going live, I'm just going to make sure our everything is set up for you to type in the word. Here it is. So, yeah, you can type in the word show. That is the word show. And if you type in the word show, then we will send you a message and add you to our live stream notification list. So let me just verify everything. Boom. All right. And if you're on YouTube with us, let me just make sure we are live on YouTube. Sharing with our YouTube friends. So we got 2 different live streams going, which I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So again, when that timer hits 0, we are going to break it all down for you. All right, we got about 22 seconds, and then we are a go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's cue the intro, and then let's get into the case study. All right, we're back. So Jason Brown, I am your host, and you may be joining us from Facebook, or you may be checking us out on YouTube. So I'm Jason Brown, stock market coach and trader at TheBrownReport.com, real trader who trades his own money. And what we're going to be breaking down is a case study. So we did a trade. You guys saw the last case study that we did. If you didn't, if you're on YouTube, you should be able to go back and watch that video. If you are on Facebook as well, you should be able to watch that video. But in this case study, we're going to break down a smaller profit. It was only 12K, but it was done within 7 days, which actually ended up being a 19% return for us here. And so, again, I love sharing this stuff because, you know, when people hear, 19% return, they think that's like annually or something like that. But it's more than possible to do that in a shorter time frame when you're using options. And so that's what I'm going to break down for you tonight. Now, before we get into that, again, this is a good time. If you didn't, feel free to tag a friend. Feel free to let me know where you're from. I am briefly looking over and checking the comments as well. And then if you want to get notified when we do our live shows, do these case studies and different type of stock market education tutorials, type the word show in the comment box below the video. If you're on Facebook, and that will send you a message. It'll say, hey, do you want to be notified when we go live? Just say yes, and you'll be on our list. We'll notify you when we go live. If you're on YouTube, there is a subscribe button on YouTube, and then there is a notification, like a little bell. Just click that bell, and then you'll get notified when we go live on YouTube. So if you guys are ready, hit the thumbs up, send me some hearts, send me some love. You guys ready to dive into this content? Let me know. I want to see, because I get excited when you get excited about the information that we're getting ready to share. So hit the thumbs up, hit the heart button, send whatever your favorite emoji is. I want to see it come through. All right. Now, as usual, before we get into talking about a real trade out of a real account, I do need to go through the disclaimer, just so that we stay on the right side of things. So let's do this, and then let's get into the trade. The Brown Report LLC, my company, Jason Brown, or any of its personnel are not registered broker dealers or investment advisors, and nor do we want to be. One should always consult with a licensed professional before making any investment decisions. I will mention that I consider certain securities or positions to be good candidates for the types of strategies we are discussing or illustrating. Because I consider the securities or positions appropriate to the discussion or for illustration purposes does not mean that I am telling you to trade the strategies or securities. Keep in mind that we are not providing you with recommendations or personalized advice about your trading activities. The information we are providing is not tailored to any particular individual. Any mention of a particular security is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold that or any security or a suggestion that it is suitable for any specific person. Keep in mind that all trading involves a risk of loss, and this will always be the situation regardless of whether we are discussing strategies that are intended to limit risk. The Brown Report LLC and any of its subsidiaries or personnel are not subject to any trading restrictions. I and others at the Brown Report and any of its subsidiaries could have a position in a security or initiate a position in a security at any time. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, you may be thinking, why do we read something like that? We're not, the thing is, sometimes people aren't smart, right? They jump off something like this and they go try something and they say, Jason Brown told me to do that. So the real purpose of this is to show you what's possible with education, with learning how the strategies work, and then more importantly, learn how to make them work for you. Because I figured out how to make it work for me. And also, that's our business, about teaching people how to implement or at least learn the strategies so they can learn how to make it work for them. So let's get into the case study. You guys ready? Hit the thumbs up, hit the hearts. I want to see it. I need some energy. I'm giving you my energy. We're going to get into a really cool case study here. So let's do it. Let's bring up the screen share. All right, there we are with the screen share. So let's look at it. So this was the trade, right? So sometimes people ask, what are you trading? How did, what's going on? And we share this with our members inside of Power Trades University, but let's break it down first. So this was the gain on the trade, 12,972 and 14 cents. Now, normally I would have to bring up the calculator to calculate the percentage, but I forget that inside the Charles Schwab account, it already gives you what we paid for it, how much money did we put to work or at risk. And then it also tells you the grand total that we pulled out of the trade. So you can see right there, we put about $67,000, $67,951.43 to be exact, to work. And then we were able to pull out a gross profit of $80,923.57. And then the total gain, you can see over here, was, like we said, $12,972.14. But the most impressive part that I believe is the percentage, right? So that was a 19% gain. So here's why the percentage gain is so important. Let me go. Let me see. Can I do a white screen? Yes. So here's why the percentage gain is so important, because sometimes people worry about the big numbers and how much, we put to work. But the point is, I don't care how you slice it. 19% is 19%. So wherever you're at in your life, I just want you to think about the math. If you have $1,000, let's just say you had roughly $1,000 in your trading account and you had a 19% gain, right? So this is our 19% gain. That would equal $190 for you. Okay. But here's the thing. We're going to break down how we did it in 7 days. So, that's the power of learning how this works. I mean, for somebody, that's a car note, right? So if you could put $1,000 to work and potentially have your car note paid, that's powerful stuff. Well, think about the person who has, maybe they have $2,000, right? Okay. And so a 19% gain, that short of a period of time would have been about $380 profit for you. And I like breaking that down because when you see the amount of capital that I put to work, you might say to yourself, I don't see myself having that type of capital. And I started with $500 when I first started trading. So I didn't have that type of capital either, but I knew that if I kept going and I stayed financially disciplined, that I could have that type of trading capital and make that type of impact. But the point is, 19% is 19% no matter where you're at. So don't look at these big numbers and say, well, I don't have that. But think about, okay, if I had 1,000, that would have been 190 for me. If I had 2,000, should I say potentially, right? Potentially, because these trades do go wrong sometimes. They don't always go right, but they go right more times than they go wrong based on what I've learned over the years and what I've learned to look for. Now, let's look at the time frame here. So let me break down the time frame. In fact, let me blow this up and let me shrink it back down. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And I'm looking at it with you. It looks fine. All right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it here. So you can see, because I like to break down the date. So we use Charles Schwab to do our trading out of that account. But let's break down. We talked about the CBOE trade last week, where that was just monsters, where we had like an 80K profit with a couple of trades in under like a month and a half. So we're not talking about that this week. What we're talking about tonight is Visa. Okay. So we looked at, Visa, we bought the 105 call options, but here's the cool thing. This went down December 7th. So that was a purchase, buy to open on December 7th. Again, you can see the 67K we put to work. Then we got out of the trade literally 7 days later. I'm talking a full work week for some people, right? So actually, no, people work 5 days a week, but at any rate, 5 days a week with 2 days off. 7 days later, okay, December 14th, we closed it out. The same Visa call options. We had about 75 contracts, okay? And this was the net profit and proceeds. So let's take a look at the chart and let's break down what was going on with Visa to make us get in. What did we see, and how can once you learn this stuff, how does it help you become a better trader, become a better investor? Even if you're a fundamental investor, there's different, types of investments. There's fundamental investors, there's technical. I'm a combination of both, but I primarily trade off the technical. So does this make sense? Is this good stuff? Let me see in the comments here. If this is good stuff, leave a comment, hit the like button, show me some emotion, hit the heart button or something in there. I love to see those things flying through. All right, let's go on to the chart. And again, if you're just joining us, I'm breaking down a case study. Feel free to tag a friend. If you want to get notified when we do these live Facebook lives, type the word show in as well. So let's look at the chart of Visa. Let's talk about what happened. Clearly, Visa's in a major uptrend, right? So you can see this thing moving in a major uptrend. And so we look for these trades every week. Because I know last time we did this, somebody asked, so how do you find these trades? Well, we look for them every week inside of Power Trades Universities with our members, because I'm a real trader trading real money. So I'm looking for trades for myself, and our students get to watch and ask questions as we scan the market, look for real trades, look for things to put capital to work with my personal money. So what we noticed was, if you start to notice the trends, right, it's all about being able to read stock charts, take a calculated risk, understand when you're getting in, when you're getting out. And so that's what we did here. We noticed this uptrending pattern on Visa. So I'm going to stop right there with drawing. And then here's what we noticed. If we were to do this, the best times to sell, if you're doing this short term, now you could obviously buy this long term and hold through all these waves, right? But the best time to sell is going to be these red arrows, right? When it hits the top of this channel. And some people say, well, they don't believe in patterns or trends, and that's okay. You don't have to believe in patterns and trends, but just like the weatherman can determine if it's getting ready to snow or rain, we are called chart technicians. We can look at patterns, and with a certain level of accuracy, we can determine what we believe the stock is going to do once you understand the patterns to look for. So best time to buy is down here on this particular pattern. So what do you think we were thinking when we saw it get ready to pull back? So we saw this pullback, big sell off. And what did we do? It was very simple. We went and looked for the perfect option once we got a confirmation close back above the trend line. Once that happened, we said, okay, what's the best option to get into? And so we're bullish, but we're only bullish for a certain period of time. So we're not bullish forever. We're bullish for a certain period of time. And in this case, we were bullish until it got back up here to the top of the channel, because you can clearly see that's the best time to sell if you're doing some short-term trading. Now, if you're doing something long-term, you could have bought way back here and you could hold it all year. We also can apply the strategy that way as well. So this stuff can be used both long-term and short-term, because I know oftentimes people say, are you a day trader? Are you a short-term trader? Well, we're a trend trader, so we're going to trade the trend until the trend tells us it's time to get out. So this particular trend just happened to be a 7-day pattern from here until it reached back up here to the top. And so that's what we saw on Visa, which allowed us to switch back here. And then you can see, well, let me erase these. So that allowed us to look for the best option. That happened to be a 105 call option. So what does that mean? First of all, that means we were able to control Visa at 105. So 105 is like down here. This is not a seminar about options, but basically we were able to control Visa without actually buying it. We just controlled it at the 105 price point. And so even though it was trading about 108, we controlled it at 105. So what happened is, as the stock rose to 113, when we bought the option at 105, the price of the option rose because it became more valuable. So let me switch back to our cost basis. So that's how we were able to get the call options at about $9.05. Think about this. With 75 contracts, let me do the math on that. With 75 contracts, each contract controls 100 shares. So 75 contracts controlling 100 shares, right? I was controlling 7,500 shares of Visa, right? Now, if you were to buy Visa stock and control it at $105, to control 75,000 shares, you would have to spend $787,500 is what you would have to do the same trade if you were doing it with stock. So that's the power of doing it with options. Okay. So instead of having to have 787,500 to do that trade, we actually only needed a fraction of that. We needed like $67,000, right? So there's power in learning how to trade options, because let me go back big on the full screen here. First of all, does that make sense? Is this some cool stuff? When the power in learning how to trade options is that you don't need such a huge account. So that's how you're able to take $1,000 trading account and do some cool stuff with it. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. You didn't need almost $1 million to do that same trade, which is what somebody would have needed if they were actually buying the actual stock to do that. So let me pause for a second. If you have a question, type it in the box. I love to make sure that this is not going over your head and that it makes sense. And sometimes if this is your first time watching, some of it may go over your head if you have never taken any of my trainings or somebody else's training in this space. So if you got a question, feel free to type it in. On the Road to Glory says it makes sense. Neo says, what is the time frame do you use for your swing trading? So Neo, we broke that down in the video. It depends on what the chart is telling us, but we're usually looking at about a 6-month day chart, a daily chart, 6 months worth of time frame, and we're looking at our strategy in that time frame. Now, if I'm doing longer term trading, I may look at like a 5-year chart if it's something that I'm planning on holding, because I have a separate account that I do long-term type retirement stuff in. And then I also have my trading account, which I do right now money in, which, when I learned this industry, people always thought, oh, I'm in this for the long term. It's like, that's cool. I got a separate account for that, but I need some right now money as well. And so for the right now money, we look at the 6-month chart for trading. For the longer term investment type stuff, we also bring in fundamental analysis, not just technicals. But when you mix the fundamental with the technicals, you feel a little bit better about holding something a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years when you can spot the trend. So great question. Let me see. I don't see the YouTube comments. So if you're on YouTube, I apologize that I do not see the comments. But once the video is over, my YouTube people, please leave a comment below the video and I'll be sure to come in and respond to it. So, all right, just checking out the Facebook comments though. JJ said, does option trading class teach the skill? Yes, we teach how to read stock charts in our foundations course. We teach how to read options in our options explain course. So I'll show you that towards the end for a second here. I'll show you that towards the end, how you can kind of get some free training and some premium training. On the Road to Glory says, if the strike price went to 104, would the option be good? So no, let's pull that chart back up. Okay. So I think it's important to know, let me pull the chart back up because there's a couple things that's important to know. So when we were looking at this option, if you look here, this is a March 16, 2018 option, which means this option was good till March. So I technically could have held the option till March. So I didn't need to close it out in 7 days. I actually have all the way until March 2018 for the stock to do what I thought it was going to do. Now, to answer your question, what would happen if, let's bring the chart back up. So what would happen if the stock fell down here to 104? The option wouldn't be worthless yet because it has all the way until March 2018 to turn back around and make it back up there. So the option wouldn't be worthless, but it would lose money as it starts to fall, as the stock begins to fall. So that's why the chart reading is very important, because we went bullish right here where we believe the trend was going to continue. If you didn't know how to read charts and you came in to work on money, it was like, I'm excited, my friend made money on Visa, and you get in right here, then what happens if Visa sells off? You might panic and you might sell it right there when really that's the time that you should be buying. However, that option that we purchased was good until March 2016. So we had some time on it. So I think that was a great question. Trevon Sherwood says, how long are you usually stay in your trades? Again, when I'm swing trading, it depends on what the trend tells me. You know, the last case study we did, we were in those trades for about 3 weeks. All the trades together that made the 80K profit, it was about a month and a half. So you're talking about a month and a half. We were in, we were out. So it really just depends on what the trend is telling us. But normally the trades that we look for, they're about, we look for about 30 to 60, 90-day trades. So no longer than about 3 months are we planning to hold this stuff. However, they typically move before the 3 months is up. As you can see, this one's 7 days. The other one was like 3 weeks. And then in total, the other two trades was about a month and a half. So when you take this, you take that, I think the last profit was like 89,000. You mix that with this profit of about 12,000, we're at about 93 in about 2 months. Doesn't include what we did the rest of the year, but in about 2 months, pretty much doing about $100,000 profit in trades. And the reason I say that, not to brag or to boast, but when you put things in perspective, I used to have a 6-figure job. So I made, I think, 110,000, something like that, as a regional manager for a major cable company. And it was a cool job. But I think about the fact that I worked every day, I worked nights, I was salary, I couldn't really make anything more. And so I think about the power of learning how to have your money work for you versus you always working for it. It's like, just from those those trades in those 2 months, I literally bought life. I bought next year if I wanted to. If I could say next year I've already made $100,000 and wouldn't have to work next year. Hypothetically, I have other investments in the business and stuff like that. But just from trading alone, learning the skill, someone has to go work 40, 50, 60 hours a week for the next 52 weeks for that. And so, and I'm not poo-pooing jobs. I loved my job when I had it, and they were awesome to me. But I'm just saying that's the power of learning how to have your money work for you versus spending the rest of your life always working for it. So really cool stuff. Erasely Nancy says, in your group, do you buy a trade with the subscribers and walk them through the process? So yeah, inside Power Trades University, we walk through the whole thing. So like what you're getting in this, like, I don't know how long we've been on. It looks like it's almost 30 minutes right now. What you're getting here, we do this for 2 hours with our students, because I'm looking for real trades. They get to look, they get to come on, ask questions. So we go 2 hours. I don't know if any Power Trade University members are on. If you are, maybe type the word PTU, let people know that you're in here. But we do this for 2 hours every Monday. So tomorrow, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., the members, we actually look for these trades live. So the members saw this when we were trying to find it. Right. So we only talk about it with the general public after it's over, because obviously that wouldn't be fair to our members. But we found this, like I said, December 14th or last week when we did our members only trade. Okay. I see some PTU members typing it in there. So perfect. All right. So listen, I don't want to go too long on this Facebook Live. I just I'm something new we're trying out. We're coming in, sharing these case studies, because I think it's important to kind of share what is possible once you learn how this stuff works. And I think it's important to start thinking about how you can make your money work for you versus you always working hard for it. I look at this stuff and I just feel blessed that I went through the pain, I went through the losses, I went through the learning curve, I paid my dues to learn how this stuff works. And it's been over a decade. I think I've been trading for about 13 years now, at least at the time of this recording or this live. And I'm just so glad that I put in the work. I see so many people come into the industry. They put in 6 months, they put in a year. If they're not rich, if they're not leaving their job or driving their dream car in 90 days, it's like they got such short-term vision. But it wasn't always like this. We lost a ton of money. We made a ton of money, but I had to practice mastering fear, practice mastering greed, practice self-discipline and getting in and getting out at the right time, even though it could go higher. Right. But it's like, no, the chart says get out right here. So there's a lot of things you have to master. But part of it is learning how to read a stock chart, learning how to trade options, knowing when to get in, when to get out. The other part is self-control, self-discipline, fear, greed. I had someone email us, and we don't mention people's names, but it was interesting. The gentleman said, even though I made money on the trade, he said, even though I got in the trade, got out, followed your teachings, he made his own decision, but based off what he saw us doing, he said, even though he made money, he said he was a complete wreck at work. He couldn't focus. His stomach was hurting. And so this might not be for everybody, because you gotta master not letting money master you, right? The thought, even though he made money, just the thought that he could lose some money, like he was like a wreck at work. And so you actually have to learn some stuff that got nothing to do with trading. You got to learn how to, deal with your thoughts around money and why you let it control you, and why does it make you sick to think about losing it. Maybe it's because you work so hard for it, but once you realize money is just a tool, it's just paper. It's more so the knowledge that's valuable, not the money. We place so much value on the dollar, but it's really the, I could lose all my money tomorrow, but I still know how to trade. So I can get back into the game. I can get back into investing because it's the knowledge that nobody can take from me. So I don't let the trades bother me as much when I'm up, when I'm down. Even these numbers that I'm sharing with you guys, it's like it's nothing to me. It's something, but I'm saying mentally, it doesn't control me because we've lost $100,000 before. So it's you win some, you lose some, but it is what it is. So cool. Well, we'll wrap this Facebook Live up. Let me. Here's the thing. I don't know if we're streaming on YouTube, but if you're not following us on YouTube, connect with me there at TheBrownReport.com. We got some tutorials and trainings over there at YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, you're already subscribed. If you want to know when we go live on Facebook, type the words "show" in as a comment, and then we'll send you a message. Say, hey, do you want to be notified when we go live? You'll say yes. And then when we go live, I send out a message to let you know that we're live. If you're looking to learn how the market works, how we come up with these trades, all this good stuff, let me share my screen with you and share with you how you can get some training. I'd be remiss if I didn't share with you how you can get some training. Specifically for me, if you choose to go with somebody else, that's your thing. I got respect for other traders out here, but I'd love to have you, right? So here's the thing. You can go to TheBrownReport.com, check out the website. Some of our case studies, we're starting to post a case study. So if you missed the last one, click view case studies. You can check those out. The first case study I did was like way back. Then I was like, I don't know if I should be sharing this with people. And I'm like, why not? So I said, instead of me sharing all my winning trades, let me share a losing trade with people. So I actually shared this trade, which was actually a $30,000 loss I took. So I shared that. And then I was like, well, I don't want people to think I only lose money. So let me get back to sharing some of the winning trades. And so, from time to time, I'll share the losers. I'll share the winners with you as well. So I was like, let me just create a page on the site called Case Studies and start sharing this with people. So as we get more case studies and that I feel comfortable sharing, I'll share more of those with you guys. But if you want to learn how this stuff works, I always recommend taking my free stock market secrets training right here, which I break down some of the secrets that they don't want you to know, which chart reading is one of them. Then how to power up your trading account with trading calls and put options. And then obviously these are the premium courses. So after you go through the free stuff, you're ready for next level. Foundations is one of our courses. Options Explained, where we break down options. And then Power Trades University. This is where we do the group coaching every week live with our members. We got a full trading community, a forum. We post videos, we post our win-loss trade tracker, all that good stuff. So thanks for spending some time with me. Let me make this one big. Thanks for spending some time with me. And again, type the word "show" if you want to get notified when we go live. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then there's a little bell or a button that says get notified when we go live. And if you want to leave some comments below, feel free to leave them. I always check the comments after the live is over and come back and interact with you, either myself or someone from my team. So have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you on the next case study.